Welcome to day 3 of Chronic Illness Daily. I'm going to keep this very brief because I'm tired and my brain is more dead than usual. I want to talk a bit about loneliness, that most taboo, shameful of topics, loneliness. Ooh, it's a hard thing to talk about, isn't it? I should mention, I have a girlfriend and we live together, so I'm most of the time not on my own. I haven't mentioned that so far because I have a little bit of I've realised it's sort of an internalized sense of like fear about being wrong, like having like all the sort of judgments and like a couple of big rejections I've received over my illness make me feel wrong about things. So part of me is thinking, I've have got a girlfriend, I'm not as isolated or as lonely as other people are, and I don't have ME, and I don't have problems with energy. So, what if people think that I'm not as bad as them in terms of health? It's a stupid fear, but I have that. And having said that, I feel like justifying that my illness is quite bad. I've had 2 kidney transplants, and I've been on immunosuppressive drugs for 30 years, and I've got a horrendous infection as a result of that. Horrendous fungal infection, I think, and that's why I am sick, because of the fungal infection, not the kidney thing. Kidney thing is fine, but the fungal infection has screwed up my life for over a decade now. So yeah, that's that out the way. It's how weird that I fear that I'm not sick enough and not isolated enough. But I do suffer with loneliness quite a lot. Isolation is loneliness is. Like all the books say, and I've read quite a few books on loneliness. It's a bit sad, that, is it? Reading books on loneliness, but that's what I like to do. And all the books say that thing about loneliness isn't anything to do with how many people are around you. It's about it's a subjective sense of how much you can take yourself to the world. And how much you're being reflected and seen. And, like I said yesterday, your chronic illness becomes a huge source of isolation in itself because there's not many places to take it. And I think I have a kind of selective loneliness for parts of me. Like I don't like my, I've always been very intellectually based, and like I don't have an intellectual community around me. There are a couple of people, but I don't have. Yeah, I feel on my own with that part of me. And I think loneliness can work that way. There's parts of you that seek connection, and some of them, when you're ill, just go unmet for a long time. But anyway, yeah. I went to my therapy group tonight. It's on a Monday night, and I didn't talk very much. I've had a bit of a thing with it for the last few weeks because, counselling groups are often very much about parents and childhood and trauma, and it's very much about, let's explore ourselves and unpack why we have these habits and find in our childhoods and in our traumatic experiences what the roots of them are, and hopefully process them and hopefully get past them. And that's a fine process. It's as applicable to me as anybody else. But when you've got chronic illness, they're nagging at you daily, wanting to explore your childhood and your low self-worth comes a very distant second. So I actually, I started going to this group to seek support for chronic illness, and I have at times got a lot out of the group, but just recently I felt a bit isolated in it because there isn't that much reflection about chronic illness. So I went to the group tonight, and I've had a bit of a top up over it. I've had some human contact, did a bit of talking, not that much, but a little bit, and so I got topped up. But on the way home, I did feel a big, I just felt a big feeling of loneliness descend, and I wanted to talk about it a bit. On the last video on the thread, somebody said in one of the comments, I noticed you like to focus on the negative, which triggered me a little bit. I have a bit of a thing about that because, like I said in the last video, it's quite triggering because I have to focus on the negative. My hand is forced by the negative stuff going on within me, so tiny bit triggering that, but it's okay, it's fine. And I'm going to just be brave enough to keep going and speak my truth, even if it's negative. That's what I'm going to do. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. So loneliness. It's such a shameful topic, isn't it? It is a real taboo, shameful topic. To admit to it makes you feel deeply ashamed. In one of the books I've read about it, it's called A Philosophy of Loneliness. It's a really good book. I just remember one bit from that where he's talking about loneliness is a type of emotional pain that's quite unique amongst emotional pains, because it's one that often, if you try to take it to people, you actually get the opposite response to what you want. If you take your loneliness to people, you actually want, you want empathy and you want connection, but it often pushes people away. It often shuts off empathy. Because if you admit loneliness, I think I've been on the other side of it when somebody's, admitted to me that they're lonely, and you get in this state of responsibility, and it puts you in a state of it puts you in a weirdly self-conscious, like I need to take responsibility for this person's state. It's quite uncomfortable. So it's like a type of emotional pain that you can't, it's very painful, but you can't take it anywhere. That's not true, not anywhere, but often you can't get much connection over it. So it's another thing you have to keep private. It's another thing to be ashamed about when you're ill. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's the layer cake of challenges that chronic illness presents is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Sometimes you do have this, sometimes you just stop and think, I can't believe this whirlwind of shit. And also I can't believe that I've been so resilient and so that I've gotten through it for so long. We should all, if you've been dealing with this for years, you should feel so bloody proud of yourself, because the resilience to get through this kind of thing for years is an unbelievable strength, and it's really, really unheralded in the world. It's really unheralded. If you've been dealing with this for years, then you deserve to give yourself some bloody credit that you've got through. It's so easy to be in the state of, I'm still not well, and I need to fix it, and my current treatment is doing this, and the current practitioner is saying this, and I'm dealing with this, and you don't stop to think, what have I gotten through? What the hell have I gotten through? My survival mechanism is so bloody strong that I've gotten through years of this. Right, I'm on 9.5 minutes. I didn't want this to be too long. So just to wind up about loneliness, it's a very difficult thing to admit to. I feel that I'm talking about it, about myself. I feel like people are going to watch this and just run for the hills, because I've said I do suffer with loneliness, and I felt it tonight. I just feel like, right, I'm going to be exiled, I'm going to be cast out, That's what it's like, isn't it? And there are, like I said, I think there's different forms of connection, which you can get some met. You know, you might have good emotional connection in your life, but you may not get your chronic illness reflected, or you might not have your intellectual side met, or you might not have your sense of humour met, or you might not. There are so many different parts of you that need meeting, and you know, people with very active, varied social lives, I imagine, can often get them met in different people, but with chronic illness, your social life shrinks, and there's all these different parts of you that don't get met, and that's pretty shit. It's pretty painful. See you tomorrow.